Mic test. Mic test. Mic test. Mic test. All right, awesome. I think we're live. All right, thank you for tuning into today's live stream. We had posted yesterday, we sent out one of our parabolic correspondences, sent out an email to subscribers and non-subscribers saying we're seeing a parallel for caution, we're seeing a reason for a pullback, and now we're seeing a pretty decent high volume sell-off on Bitcoin. In our actual chat, right, in our VIP community, we had been I had been calling for a top over here, then we saw it go higher, and then past few days I highlighted to everyone that this is high volume distribution zone, and I've done a workshop on this. It should be cataloged in our videos. When we see, even though it's a small time frame, so you guys might laugh at this, but this is probably the best way to pick up on high volume sell-offs. We see a lot of sell volume countering any upwards motion. We had seen two rising wedges, right? Several rising wedges. So this rally is starting to look semi-terminal-ish. But if you look at everything else, like a lot of indices have been doing this and surging higher. So is this over? Are we not going to see 16K? What's going on? What's going on, George? Why are we streaming? What's the highlight of the stream? Well, I don't have an answer if we're going to go higher anytime soon, right? But I would expect quite a bit of retracement. There's been a lot of factors that have been telling us this, including what's going on with BTC dominance, right? I was saying, hey, like Altseason might hit soon. I was thinking it did start because we did see a lot of momentum pick up in some altcoins. And then guess what? BTC dominance turned around and it went higher. And did I make that call too soon? I probably did. But the reason for that, the reason I made that call is because as dominance is going up, right, it's another reason, it's another way to increase BTC value, right? And the reason I think this rally is losing steam is market makers are doing this thing where they get out of alts, and by doing so, it brings value back into BTC. And it's another way to increase BTC's value, right? So if you think of Bitcoin value, what's going to contribute to a rise in BTC value? Well, three things. US dollar or fiat money going into Bitcoin, leveraged, and then way number two is leverage Bitcoin to the upside. So when you take BTC and you put it on a leverage exchange, you leverage it long, that's going to increase Bitcoin's value inherently. And the third way is getting out of alts and back into BTC. So it appears that the flow of fiat has slowed down, right? The flow of fiat has slowed down where market makers are having to do this, having to get out of alts, dump these alts for more Bitcoin, where to contribute to a rising BTC price, right? And it was working, it worked really well. And now we can see that this approach is not exactly working anymore. So that tells me, and if you look at those top two lines, we're seeing a much higher high on BTC dominance and a lower high on actual BTC. So it's starting to diverge from the trend. Last time we saw divergences from the trend, let's see, May 11th, 2019. See if we can kind of back test that. Right, so last time this happened, we did see somewhat of a moderate pullback. That was right before the dip to that flash crash to 6,300, which one of our indicators predicted. Actually, it wasn't much divergence on the BTC chart, but this right here tells me that the inflow of fiat is actually losing steam. So what's happening is market makers are trying to boost BTC price, right? And doing so not by leveraging BTC, but by getting out of alts and going back into BTC, which in turn drives Bitcoin's value up, right? But it's not attracting more USD to the market, Instead, what it did, it created a supply zone, right? It created this supply zone over here. So now if we're going to have a real resistance, if BTC is going to start encountering resistance, it's going to be up here, this last top, this distribution top. So 13095 is going to be a true BTC resistance. Now there is support below us. There's definitely support over here, and we're bringing it right now. We're kind of getting wicked out. If you want to look at the micro trend, like what's going on in a micro level, the target of this wedge is 6.27%. We might have just hit this target. We haven't. 6.27. So we actually did. It bounced a little off target. Actually, we measure the wedge to the upside and then to the downside. So let me measure this properly so I don't get criticized. And yeah, so 5.99, 6.12. So we did hit the wedge target to the downside. But what's more interesting is this high selling volume, right? This is a lot of supply. And if you look at the parallel, of 2017, 2018, that January top, I've got another parallel to pull up. So we did do this higher high previous than that lower high, and that time around, that's the parallel that's in our publication. I should have put a link in the video description to it. Maybe I'll drop one afterwards. If you just hop into Discord, we'll send you the link. So this one went up to the above 61.8, which is typically bullish, right? Which everyone, including myself at that time, thought, hey, we're gonna go higher, but we didn't. This time, I believe we went over the 78.6, which is even more bullish, right? Which is even more bullish, but that's the nature of a little bit of a bull trap. Yeah, we went straight to 78.6 and rejected at the 78.6. So if we can maintain the 61.8, it's going to be good. But if not, we could expect downside. I did do a retracement or an extension fib workshop last week on the 1.272, which has been predominantly where a lot of rallies are bouncing and turning. So if this was to correct, and if we were to see these price action go lower, if you were to see price action come back into this range, which I'm not saying it's going to be very likely, but based on that distribution, we could. I'd want to see a double bottom at that 10K mark. Back to that previous parallel I had drawn out. I shouldn't have erased all my drawings. Let me go back up to here. Wendy. As for altcoins, like last week I was hyped up on alts. Even early this week I was hyped up on alts. We're not seeing the runs I was expecting. But what we are seeing, and I'll highlight this. Get out of the volume, make my chart clear. Last time altcoin dominance was at this low, it was right before the peak of 2017, December 2017. This was December 9th, and I believe the peak was like the 14th, a few days beforehand. And this is what I talk about when I say that diminishing altcoin dominance or alt selling off into BTC is another way to contribute value and boost BTC's price. Right, we're actually below that level, but some alts are actually maintaining some of their gains, and we'll go over some of those. And some of them have made a higher low. You guys got any questions about BTC dominance? I'm going to try to pull up this previous period right here, and I was highlighting on this chart, on the bottom chart, what's going on between the last swing high and the current swing low, like we saw here. And previously in 2017, we did see something similar to what we're seeing now, is two steep alt sell-offs, right? And then a turn to the upside after a swing high. So here we're seeing a swing high, two steep alt sell-offs, and in terms of BTC gains, this swing high, July 17th, we're going to go ahead and correlate that on the BTC chart overhead. So July 17th was when BTC, I'm just going to pick the 19th, right? We were still in that 2,400 range, and that's when it surged all the way up to the top, right? December 11th, December 13th. So is this rally weakening? I believe it is, simply because a lot of the tools to move Bitcoin's price up, we're just not finding demand up high. Instead, we're finding supply, and that's where we see that high volume distribution. There was a target in our VIP channel for 16K, which I was very much opposing, and there was actually an ABC retracement. I can try to pull up the chart. Let me try to find it. If you guys are wondering where Elliott Wave is going to put BTC, is actually contributed by one of our traders. He's really good. He turned 0.1 BTC into 13 BTC during this bull run, so I would trust his charts. Going into BitMEX Savagery, he's posted a new chart. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and prop this up here. And this is what we're looking at, right? Back to that 10K mark or so. There's a 38.2 target at 12. Yeah. So what we published in our publication yesterday had quite a bit of truth to it, and so if you guys hop in our Discord, we'll make sure to send you a link to read this and a link to sign up just to get our email alerts. You would have gotten this a day before the top. Yeah, I know, Kev. 1 to 18, I thought it was 1 to 13. All right, if you guys want me to check other charts, other tokens, hit me now. This is probably a good time to go over some alts, see what's in our momentum zone, see what's not in our momentum zone. Another thing in our correspondence, the trade setups we're looking at are called momentum zone trades, and we've got an edge. It's just about a matter of maintaining that edge and alts complying. One of the alts we had mentioned was ENG, and look at Walton Chain, right? It's getting ready to break out. Somebody came into our chat room and was like, "Hey, is Altseason over already?" with a smiley face and a smirk. And I was like, hey, why don't you take a look at ENG? And this was right here at like 50.12, right? We're at 55, so it's up like 8-9%, which is a good thing. I'm going to go over VET. So I said I wanted to signal VET. I haven't pushed that one out yet. We haven't pushed that one out. It's not looking like what I want to see on other alts, right? So momentum zone trades. This is a non-edge trade if I was going to take it. I wanted to take this trade over here, but it never held up. It broke down below my red line. My yellow line is pointed to the downside. Now, this can all change in a matter of days. It can change immediately like it did here on this previous pump. So, yeah. Fred, you got any other altcoins you want me to go over? You'd mentioned Syndicator, and you thanked me for my coverage of Syndicator. It looks like it's dipping down now, right? But this was right below the momentum zone, and that's where it gets tricky, right? We don't want to hop in too soon. We don't want to hop in too soon, just because there's a pennant here below. It hasn't really broken above, and now it broke above, and now it's coming below. So I would have been stopped out of this trade had I taken it. BQX. Look at that. That's awesome. That's a really pretty chart, right? It's below our momentum. It's in our momentum zone. It did this range, back down, retested. It's positive to the upside. It actually did a little bit of a divergence on a shorter time frame here at the trend line. So I would expect another up move out of BQX. We see this positive RSI divergence. Right, it's more oversold at a higher low above the momentum zone. So this is the key area that we want to get into this trades. People that are hopping in our Discord and reading our publications, even watching our YouTube videos, right? This is my key level of interest. All right, this is where we're seeing momentum explode into these charts, right? And I think Walton is going to take off for another run. This has been the rally leader, and it's doing this secondary bull flag. It bounced off the MZ once, and I actually figured out a market cycle target for this top, and it's highlighted in our publication. And actually, I'm just going to do a flat line across. Right, so now we know where these rallies, how this rally is starting to take place based on that one leader and the followers. And this is what we call market cycles. SNED, I know BTC's crashing. We did post that yesterday. We put it out in our publication. Hey, look out! We were ahead of this. It set a parallel for caution during Bitcoin's descent from previous all-time high in January 2018. The chart demonstrated a very similar retracement to its current standing. Retracement back to slightly above the 61.8 fib level. We're currently examining the rising wedge on the chart above for a retest. Rejection of the downside at the wedge would be cause for concern and a hedge short signal. Right? And what did we see? We saw that initial wedge we were watching falter. What's going on with these wedges is really interesting. It started a few days ago where we have a wedge, which is a bearish formation, and we have a breakdown, okay? And then we see price not go back up and retest the wedge, but we see an extension in time where if it was to go up and retest the wedge, that line is way higher, right? That resistance is way higher. So we're not seeing wedges retest like they clinically should. One wedge that did get retested and it failed was this one, and we did see like a minor, I think it was an A, B, C, D, E down here. Actually, no, it was over here in this range. We signaled another long. When I saw the high volume distribution, I said, hey guys, like trail your stops. This is looking very toppy. Going over Aggie. Not even close. Not even close. This is just one cycle. There could be several cycles going on. But this is the one that we're tuned into. If anybody wants me to look at another altcoin edge they might have in the market, I am all ears for it. Something that's piquing my interest, and something that's piquing my interest is Neblio. It's actually way below the entry zone. Never mind. I'd seen quite a bit of volume come into this chart, but I don't think it's going to do anything at this point. You guys on Facebook, give me some engagement. Smash that like button. Give me some alts to review. Give me your view on Bitcoin. You guys have been very quiet today. One thing that was also worrying me is the 3-day RSI. It was divergent on the secondary high. The weekly RSI looks good. There's just a lot of convoluted signals on Bitcoin, right? So this high, this last high was divergent on the 3-day. On the 2-day, it was divergent. On the 1-day, maybe a hidden bear div. possibly a hidden bear dip. I can't get a proper reading on these lines, so um, this was divergent. But and Cam, one of our analysts, I think he was on a 2-day chart. He's really good at like cross leverage margin trading. Had this RSI resistance line. Can't tell if it was the 2-day chart or what, but he was starting to get a really early sell signal. He highlighted it yesterday, and he actually had some shorts lined up waiting to catch this top. We saw this fail, and he's in Australia, so he had to go to bed. So he layered in some shorts up here and caught the top. Do I think Powell's statement? I heard a lot of Powell's statement. I didn't hear the full thing. I wanted to go live while this BTC chart was doing what it is. While we were seeing this rally weaken. What's interesting about Powell's testimony today is that there was more questions about Libra than there was any questions about anything else. And that tells me regulators are concerned about crypto. And I think what's going to happen in the macro climate of the world and world economy, one thing that's really worrying is Powell is actually concerned about the economy while we're seeing indices make all-time highs. This is the S&P 100 futures, right? So we're seeing the S&P, it made so many all-time highs last few weeks, right? We made an all-time high. We made another all-time high. Three ATHs when the world economy is in decline, when the when the European Central Bank announced quantitative easing, when Australia's in quantitative easing. So all these world economies are starting to really worry. But we're seeing, if you look at the QQQ today, I actually messaged you about that today, Cap, right? Boom, opened up at all-time high. It's doing a doji. So I think what's going to happen here is we're going to see a blow-off top period. Some of our previous publications, they mention the inverse correlation between Bitcoin and traditional assets. I think we're going to see a blow-off top. I think we're going to see a blow-off top on indices, which should give BTC a break in terms of like fundamental demand, because traditional markets are going up. There's no reason to hedge. I haven't checked gold quite yet. Let me pop up a 4-way chart and see what everything else is doing. Put up a dollar index and then gold. So gold's back on the rally. I should have sent out the publication on traditional assets. We didn't do that this week, but we'd said that gold's establishing a new base, right? And the publication also said that DXY is likely finding resistance at the 61.8. And this is one of our team's findings where it did bounce above, right? Now it did this rejection, bounced above, now coming back down to retest. Looks like a bear flag. So another thing that we're seeing in traditional assets is a rinse and repeat, kind of like BTC and alts. When the DXY makes these swing highs, everything tanks, but as it sells off, they shoot up higher. Awesome. We got a request for Nano. It's actually above. Now it's above that previous resistance. So I want to see what happens here with the DXY. If it shoots up higher, right, it might cause indices to come down for another rinse and repeat. There's been a real tight correlation between traditional assets and the dollar index. Now we're seeing another bull flag on gold with somewhat of a bear flag on the DXY, but DXY is more easily manipulated than gold. So, and they also show an inverse correlation. If you guys trading traditional assets, gold and the euro were showing a direct correlation for quite some period. And this looks like this breakout appears to be coming off this A, B, C, D, E, and then this is a wave 1 starting. I'm not a big Elliott waveist. I'm learning from Elliott wave analyst, right? So this is a falling wedge. It's breaking out, ending diagonal. Going over Nano. Oh man, it dumped lower. right? It didn't sustain the hold. So in trading this momentum zone, there's going to be one critical element of discipline, right? When it breaks below, we can setting these stops on these momentum zone trades. There's got to be some discipline in here. The discipline's got to be where if it breaks what was supposed to be support, out of that trade. If it's consolidating below, it's not a signal yet until we get closure. That's why we added this yellow line, right? This yellow line is going to give us a clear indication. It should start acting as support. Look at Walton chain. There's a few trades where it did act as support right here, right on that retest. There's initial retest, secondary retest, and here even acted as support. Now it's acting as resistance. What's going on with BTC? BTC still selling off. ENG, are we still in the momentum zone or are we out? We should start seeing this yellow line act as support again. We should. Little headline came up on Ether. I'm going to go over Ether USD. If you guys are VIPs, even if you're subscribed to us on Medium, remove all drawing tools. When did we publish on the, oh my god, look at this pennant on gold, guys. This thing might really take off. When did we publish on gold? When did we long gold? This was the initial wedge that I saw, and I said we're going to long gold. It broke down, retested. This was our secondary signal, right? That's the thing. It's all trading's more about opportunity than anything else. And you want to capture more opportunities than just be in one market super exposed. What are we doing on the hourly? Have we found support? We have not. We're actually breaking down below this fib. Go over ETH USD. Breaking down hard. I had higher hopes for ETH because it did break that up the downtrend a day sooner than BTC. It retested it. All right. So I'd mentioned that 1.272. Let's see if this will hold. Wow, that's going to be really steep at 275. That's really going to hurt Ether bulls. Hopefully it does something like that without going back in time. And I think that was a 1.272 extension of like this top right here. I believe it was a 1.272 of the last swing low. And it was, right? I mean, I can go down to that lower wick. And you can really see where these rallies are starting to reject. We should have went short here. So, is this rally over for Bitcoin? Is this rally over for Bitcoin? I'm not going to say it completely is. Should this give altcoins some breathing room? Well, considering the attempt to boost BTC price up with via Bitcoin dominance, those attempts are starting to falter. They're starting to fail. They're not being as effective. Maybe we should see a change in direction in this, right? And the other direction is, so how can you increase BTC price? We mentioned 3 different ways. 1 is fiat, 2 is leverage BTC, 3 is getting out of altcoins and contributing back to BTC value by increasing dominance. Now, how can market makers increase their Bitcoin holdings, right? 1 is trade BTC USD, leverage BTC the right way, and 3 is altcoins. Altcoins are not, they didn't go up in value during 2018 because of speculation during the actual sell-off of Bitcoin. That's not what happened. They went up because of FOMO, right? We did see the driving factor What are altcoins? Altcoins are just another vehicle to generate more Bitcoin. What happens is market makers start a move, people buy into that move, just like we see in the cycles. People see an uptrend, so they start buying into it. You see Walton chain take off. I'm going to go over at PPT. It kind of did the same thing. We see this thing take off. What happens? More buyers come in. So whoever comes in here and buys this, right? Somebody sparks a move, it goes up and it retraces, and we're trying to buy this off the momentum zone, and it's going to surge up. This is FOMO, right? And then there's profit being taken. So market maker, whoever was accumulating in this zone was able to make 120% on their Bitcoin. So the way we look at alts, they're just another vehicle to generate market makers more BTC. I know that fib is so precise, right? It's crazy. So I made a workshop on this fib. Make sure to watch it, share it, smash that like button, leave a comment on that workshop. What's going on? There's the S&P. I'm gonna get the S&P up here. So go over the S&P. It's fighting support, and as long as the traditional assets are doing a blow off top, right? If support continues up here in this zone, if we find support up here on the S&P, it's going to rage higher, and there's no reason for it to do so. This is a liquidity play. I believe this is a liquidity play to see a blow off top, something like we saw in like the 1930s. We never saw it, but we can pull up some 1930s charts and see this. And all these highs are diverging, guys. All these, I think the next up move is 302. We're currently at 299. Daily chart. Look at this. This looks terrible, right? It should come crashing. This is a big ass doji candle. I'm smiling saying it, right? It's a big ass doji candle. And now we're seeing this. We might even see some like direct correlation if everything starts selling off. But more importantly, in terms of correlation, the big swings have been showing some hedging, remove drawing tools, been showing some inverse correlation with BTC. So this down move here, this was actually, I mean, I've got, get on our Medium. There's this one publication titled The Macroeconomic Parallels, and that's the one you want to read. There's actually a link to it in the video description. You can see the inverse correlation. All right, going back to BTC and the current sell-off. Fred, back to this fib level. It's so precise. So I'm just gonna go off the candles, right? We don't want to go off these wicks. Going off the candles, we did see rejection there, rejection at the 1.414. But I don't know if this is over, man. If this sell-off is over. Usually when we see a sell-off like this, I like to wait a day or two before making a move, like a fiat buy-in move or anything like that. Like just like when we saw this sell-off happen, whoever is like, hey, okay, it's selling off, I'm gonna average down right now, right, a few hours into it. Well, it literally took 5 days to resolve, right? So you want to wait a good 4, 5, 6 days before making a drastic move of putting in more fiat. If you wanted to stop out or withhold some gains, I mean, most of us were, some of the guys I've been talking to, they're like 30% fiat over here, right? I don't know what they did further. We had longs up to here with trailed stops, and now I want to see this sell-off. I've been saying this is high volume distribution on the low time frames. It's crazy what a 5-minute chart will tell you and nothing else will, right? This is all high volume distribution. Look at all this distribution over here. Another place we saw high volume distribution that did not last long in terms of a sell-off was up here in this range. Right, so we did see it up here in this range at this top. We had some shorts, came back up, revisited, broke back down. What was a secondary retracement here? Go swing low to swing high. 61.8. All right, so if we go swing low to swing high for 61.8, it's going to be back to bottom of this range, right? If this range breaks down, then I think we're going to retest those previous lows. Price label. And one nifty indicator I created. Oh god, look at that divergence back here. It's just resistance, not quite divergence. The failure swing on the 4 hour, so we want to see this kind of sell back off. I'm going to throw every single charting tool that we've used, right? We still haven't found RSI support on the 4 hour. Have we found it on the hourly? We broke below RSI support on the hourly, right? This kind of gave us a long signal, and now this is a no trade zone. What we could likely see is a move up and a retest. If it fails, we're going lower. If it bounces up and retests to the upside, we're going higher. All right, where was I? Okay, the BTFD indicator. It's funny, and this one's public, guys. You guys should definitely start using this. On the XBT chart, it didn't quite give us a buy signal here or a bounce. On the actual CME futures chart, it did. But what it did is it held up the chart over here, and I said when we were still here, and I was still worried about this sell-off or about this breakout not taking place, but there was a pennant. There was this pennant over here, and we got this close above. So, hey guys, we got to close above our primary band, and we're gonna go up. Right. So now we're likely gonna come back down and retest this band to see if it acts as support. And right now it's at 11,697. We could sell off all the way down to 10,484, which was another target, right? That 10K mark. And we've seen this indicator time and time again let you know that this bull run is still happening. Anytime price bounces above here, if you're using this indicator from the start, you bought that first BTFD, right? And I mean, you should be up 200, 300 something percent. It's called the BTFD 2019 Bitcoin bands. I created this just for this bull run, right? So I mean, up until now, right, you'd be 236% on the first buy-in. On the last few buy-ins, you'd still be up quite a bit. There's a reason I made this indicator. It's for the public to kind of use. 144 off this bounce. People like to average down, right? You can dollar cost. I'm against dollar cost averaging down. I like getting stopped out. You could have dollar cost averaged down on all these moves and not broken in a profit. I like buying pullbacks in an uptrend, and this has been proven time and time again. Up until this fails, right? This is valid. We haven't seen it fail yet. What's up, Troy? Welcome in, man. If you're just tuning in, put out a publication yesterday saying that we're seeing a parallel from 2018, the bull trap up here, and then I saw this high volume distribution zone. Right, so there's a couple of wedges here, a lot of wedges recently. I'm just going to remove everything off my chart. It's starting to get convoluted with information. This is a channel. There's this wedge that I had drawn, and it created a big distribution zone. I think ultimately this is our resistance that we need to break past, which is good. We need to see BTC take a break, all right? And this on a low volume time frame. I believe you know about like my high volume distribution theory is when we see price go up and it just people are selling it, and this is like Wyckoff distribution schematic number 3, I think. So we see all this upwards price action with not a lot of buying, right? Small volume moves bring price up and it's just sold off into oblivion. We'd seen this move down yesterday after I sent out my correspondence. We saw this move down here and we did see support happen, and someone was asking, hey, is this the end? I said no, this looks like a retest of a descending broadening wedge. There's likely an upwards move from here. Where did it reject? I hovered above my 1.272, never broke that 1.414, nor did it touch the 1.618 unless we do like we move our fib down to the candles. Then we're probably going to see rejection at the 1.6. Yeah, I mean, this should have been support. It didn't. It failed. It tried to do this another like inverse head and shoulders, and it ate dust. So now, are we going to see this wedge retest? Based on what we've seen from previous wedges, it's going to do like a time extension, go sideways, and by the time it goes up to retest this wedge like it did back here, that's going to be one option, right? To me, whoever bought here bought a bull trap for now. For now. We can see this where the chart does so much of a time extension where when it goes up to retest that wedge line is so far up and out of sight, all right? So it can keep going up. So if we do the same thing and do a time extension, go sideways, it would be interesting. And we've got support. There's plenty of support. But now there's plenty of resistance, right? So we got support at 11.93. We've got support at 11.5. Ultimately support at the 9K range. We are still live. We're still live. You guys got any anything you want me to look at? Let's look at BTC dominance and see what it's doing. BTC.D. So it's trying to do a blow off top. It's trying once again. A big contribution to this rally has been altcoins selling off to increase Bitcoin's value. Another way to attract fiat in. I'm not going to do a wedge here. We're trying to do a blow off top on dominance. I wouldn't call this a wedge at this point or a parallel channel. Let me look at others. Got some alts on these screens I'm watching. This is the daily. Let me go on the 60-minute. NPXS, checking that out for you while this chart loads. Thank you for that. So I want to see what happens here, right, on Walton, because this has been our cue for this altcoin cycle, right? If this thing finds support here and it keeps going up, now we know we've got a level 1 buy-in. We got a target 1. We've got a target 2 that I highlighted in our publication. Maybe get out all the way here and then wait for this retest, right? Buy this retest and then kind of keep riding up. It's going to be interesting. And I don't think these things are going up because of inherent value, because the project's great, because it's not a shit coin. I think they're going up so market maker makes more BTC. That being said, going back into NPXS, or going to NPXS, 6 Satoshis, man. 8 Satoshis. No momentum zone. I stay away from these alts. I was really eyeing something like Verge. And if we go to like the 3-day chart. You're like, why are you looking at Verge, man? Oh, there's a good reason I'm looking at Verge. Not because I want to buy it, but based on the 2018, 2017 run, based on dominance, it was down to 47. I'm just going to take this week. It was down to 49 Satoshis right before the parabolic rise, right? Right before it made, I think, 20,000% or something. It went stupid. And we're at 57 Satoshis now, right? So something like this is going to tell me where this dominance is really going to want to falter, where it's going to want to fail. Interestingly, I don't have a back test on this, but this yellow line is crossing below. It's way below on the daily. Anyways, that's why I want to stake to something like my momentum zone. If this breaks out into the momentum zone, I don't care. I want to pick it up off the retest. LTC hasn't had much love. Well, guess what? You know, people think that just because it went up before the halvening, it's going to keep going up after the halvening or for the halvening. And it's not how life works. It's not how markets work. So others are still coming down. But in terms of that correlation, we did see the same thing happen where we saw a swing high on others at Bitcoin at 2,500 and ran all the way up to the swing low of December 10th, right, 2017, and then came back down. We see Lido just pulled up our Elliott Wave Bull. Just made an announcement. I want to check up on that. I don't know if it's recent or a delayed. You guys getting some juice from our VIP community, right? Be alert with BNB. We're seeing a big upswing in BNB. This is a hedge token. This is a hedge token. You guys are welcome. Shoot Lido, thank you for that. Smash that like button for Lido's alert. Back to LTC. I was asked about LTC the other day, and I said it's not going to get much love. I said it looked like it was going to come down. And I was asked, hey, but the halvening, I said this looks like it's going to come down. And it did. Now, one thing that could happen is we know that LTC was this rally's leader, right? It started this rally. I mean, look at this wedge on LTC, BTC, broke down, pulled back in. LTC USD started this rally with the halvening, which created more inflow of USD into Bitcoin. This thing kind of stopped moving up here. That looks like a head and shoulders, man. Let's still have that line drawn, right? This is a descending, broadening wedge. We could see support. The other day I said we could see support at 100, right? Now we're going to see support at 101, 99, 98 and see what happens. So what happens when you see deep? This is just like what we saw on BTC. This is just what we saw. Descending, broadening wedge, a breakout and a rejection. Descending, broadening wedge, breakout and a rejection. Now we're seeing another really high sell volume candle. The S&P is moving higher. I'm not still bullish on ETH, man. I'm not. I was. I want to see a bullish formation come back into this chart. I want to see what happens. I was bullish on ETH. And then we trailed our stops, our leverage stops to like 310 after looking at like 290s and for the buy-in. 294 was our buy-in. Trailed our stop to 310 and haven't longed since. I want to see what happens over the course of the next couple of days. We do know historically ETH has acted as a hedge. We do know that it's really running a far delay in the cycle. I'm going to pull up something even more interesting to some of you guys that have not. Oh man, okay, I still got it pulled up. This is our harmonic scanner for BTC. And I was saying, guys, we got a short entry up here and it played out and now it's dumping. I've been posting every single one of these updates on BTC. And target 212.315. This is a 30-minute. I'm going to go to the hourly. Oh, that's 606. It's a long time frame. This will give us a reversal play, right? Like, this kind of gave us a bullish ABCD into a shark. We saw a secondary reversal here. And once again, for you guys that are in VIP, I said these formations, they punch the stops before they turn, right? And I said, the stop's at 13.16 and I punched the stop and now it turned. So for now, it's a short signal down at 11.536. I don't see a long. I'm going to go in on a 15, on a 5, see if we're getting a reversal formation on there. Nothing on a 15. Put my coffee here so I don't spill it. Nothing on the 5. We even had another short entry up here on the 5 at 13.17. ETH USD. Man, I had a bullish, hit T2. Now it's selling off. That's the 15 going to hourly. Look at that, bearish Gartley. Should have traded the short. Target 287. Key altcoin of interest right now is Enigma. For me. Momentum trade zone. Kind of struggling. This is the Bittrex chart, no volume. I think this should give altcoins a perfect exit opportunity off Binance, right? Whoever sold off on the initial one and got off Binance, it's one thing, but I think some market makers are just gonna shoot that up. I mean, what sparked this whole rally? Another thing that backs up what I'm saying about Bitcoin dominance, contributing to Bitcoin's rise. We were below 10K when CZ announced. We were here when CZ announced that they're shutting down US customers. All right, and boom, alt sold off into BTC. I think he pulled one of those, hey, you guys want to see Bitcoin above 10,000? Hold my beer. All right, Fam Bam, show me more alts. I covered everybody's alts, really. Let me see what's going on in our VIP chat. Some of our insider views. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up here. Unless you guys have more altcoins for me. If you guys have alts, show me now. Neblio, man, it's looking interesting. I want to see what this does. So, from my perspective, ENG looks good. I did see some volume going into Neblio. Check Aggie on the 5. Thanks for that, Troy. Yeah, man, I was just asked about Aggie earlier. So we're gonna see one of two things happen, or two of two things happen. Maybe both things happen. One first, the second later. We're gonna see. I think this rise wasn't on volume; it was on dominance. And I'm just gonna back this up and not just show my thoughts. I'd seen this double top, right? You saw this double top M formation where I personally thought this was gonna keep going down. We're gonna see alts rally. When this double top broke out, there was not much volume leading up to that double top rising. So I'm gonna remove all drawing tools up here, clean up that chart, zoom out, give us some more perspective. Draw this resistance line. So this move up to here, wasn't fueled by a lot of volume. And this, I think this was more of a dominance play. When the dominance start breaking up, come on, yeah. Just gonna put it right here. All right, so the initial spike up wasn't much of a volume spike, it was a dominance spike, right? So dominance kicked up, moved BTC up on that first candle. Yeah, so I think dominance can try to come in where we're gonna see alt sell off some more to try to keep BTC alive. And when that's exhausted, right, we're gonna see it turn around violently because market maker needs to make more BTC on a falling BTC. It's not going to be a value-based proposition. It's going to be a rinse and repeat proposition. Just like when BNB sells off in IEO coins and then IEO coins go back into BNB, just like we see the DXY rinse and repeat with the SPY. I mean, it's just markets, man. Market makers making their moves, calling the shots. You bet, Kevin. Troy, got anything else, man? Check BNB. This kind of came in our VIP chat. Oh man, we're getting a long signal all the way down here. That's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a big snapback. Oh man, all right. This is on the daily. This is really interesting, guys. This would be the equivalent of BTFD on the daily of like my BTC chart, right? If this acts as support again, probably gonna see a big upswing. Fam Bam, hit me with some more love. Click the smash that like button, click that subscribe button. Ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications when I go live. I haven't been scheduling these streams. I've been going live like more often than usual, way more often than usual. What's going on here with this extension retracement? Can we get a fib entry? Yeah, we're below that 61.8, guys. Let's go off candles. I like candles. Let me look look at ETH BTC in terms of harmonics, see if we can catch a bottom. Oh man, we get another. So here's what's interesting about ETH BTC. We had one bullish signal that played out, right? We had another bullish signal that played out just before T1. This could be a liquidity grab, right? This could definitely be a liquidity grab below that support. If you look at ETH BTC on the daily, or on the without harmonics on there, this could be a liquidity grab, right? I mean, we haven't snapped back that last low. And our Elliott guys are calling for somewhat of an ending diagonal. Lido, if you're into the stream, can you send me like and Willie, I think Willie posted this. Willie, if you're in the stream, can you send me your ending diagonal on ETH BTC? So the guys are calling for like an ending diagonal. It's like a 1, 2, 3. I'm not an Elliott waiver, so maybe like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, it was like an A, B, C, D, E here, right? Didn't play out to the upside. Fred, thanks for shooting out Wabi. I said this rally's losing steam. You know, people want to stay perma bulls because I don't know why. Possible wedge. Possible wedge. I'd seen, I was watching just other BTC analysis videos yesterday, and a lot of bullishness in the air. Right, like based off this pennant, someone was saying we're going to like 20K again, one big candle. That's why you want to look at these on like intraday charts. Even, I mean, the 1.414 reject, and you even hit the 1.618. All right, we saw initial rejection at the 1.2, came back down, retest. Now the 1.414 rejected. This could be doing what I saw on the S&P up here. Let me go to ES. So theoretically, we could be seeing the same thing. Can you guys see that? Where we see this up move to the 1.2 and then a retrace, a move up to 1.4 and then a retrace, except for the 1.2 held up on the S&P, right? Pull back to the 1, so pull back to here to 12.3. So if 12.3 succeeds, we break above the 1.2, we could go back up to 1.4, but then it's just selling volume is very concerning. Anyways, I think that's all I got right now, unless you guys want to... XRP, thanks for that. Am I missing? Oh, I missed a lot on same as 2017 EOS. Thank you. I'm sorry. I was scrolled up on Facebook. Let me go ahead and go over all those coins. ETH, EOS, and ETH. Covered ETH everything. Man, EOS looks wrecked. I was bullish up here and I got stopped out. Wabi, XRP. I think Wabi was looking strong, man. Last I remember. Bull flag momentum zone did not close above. This momentum zone's critical. XRP. The cripple, man, Ripple's getting crippled. Capitulation. gonna copy and paste your link into my trading view, Troy. $38.2. I'm gonna give this a few days to resolve. I don't think we're gonna snap right back, not based on what I'm seeing on this HVD, man. High volume distribution is what I call this. This was a big mega wedge. It's definitely beyond target. So let's see what happens. This volume is what's like a cause for concern. We're also looking at like where is this? Hey, is the top 5 on BitMEX, the top 5 traders were short yesterday. So this was all reason to be short. All right, fam bam. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you for tuning into the stream. Make sure to smash that like button, click subscribe, give us a share. If you want access to our newsletter, which we pretty much declared that this is a reason to get out, and I mean this was published 7/9 yesterday morning, saying that we're likely going to see a top on Bitcoin and when to hedge. Clear as day. Right here. It looks a little squished on my screen because it's an ultra wide. Screen's not adapting. Hop in our Discord. Get access to our newsletter. We put these out right when it's critical times, at least once a week. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you on Discord, and have a great day. Stay safe. Don't overexpose yourself. Make sure you're not overexposed at all times. Don't ever go all in on anything. Yeah. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.